see. I'm also admitting people in, so I'll make sure everybody's here. On my wife's computer, so I had to switch everything I was doing. Literally, this happened within the last 15 minutes. So hi. We have people cleaning our house, so I have to move to another location. Just bear with me. Like I said, I'm just dealing with a technical complication here. So if you can, please. Okay, let's see. Literally, I have to call up everything I had set up before. That's not it. Documents. Bear with me. Like I said, please. Just one more sec, okay? Okay. So you have to apologize. I have to apologize again because this is literally something that just happened. So hi. Everybody's in. Let me know if you can't hear me. And again, I just literally, like I said, I was just all set up and my Zoom camera crashed. So I had to move to a new computer. All right. If you see my lips moving, you can't hear me again, please let me know. Like in the chat. Let me see here. Chat. Okay, yeah, we can hear you. You're probably all like,
Yeah, everything's good.
good. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Just trying to also think what's the best. No, not that. All right, whatever. Okay. Everyone, I just want to welcome you all to Digital Media. Obviously, this is not the ideal conditions we expected to have, but I appreciate your indulgence and bearing with me on this, and bearing with us. Our first in-person class is actually scheduled to be on January 31st, right on the exact date, I believe. That's Monday, I believe. So anyway, so digital media, what is digital media? Well, digital media is something I've actually been doing for a while. Digital media is actually, to be honest with you, I'm not trying to be, I try to be a little bit realistic about things, a little bit grounded. And I'm very excited about the job I do and what I do and that sort of thing. But at the same time, I just want to make sure that I also want to tamp down expectations at the same time too. So digital media essentially is the media that we as we know it. Okay. But what I do in this class, what we do in this class essentially is take what everybody's had writing for media, right? I actually probably shouldn't have to ask that question, but that is a prerequisite for the class. But what we do is we take that class and we try to apply it to the digital platform more extensively. Okay. Everything is a digital media now in the media. Everything is digital medium. Okay. So, this whole thing with it's almost redundant in a way. I mean, when they first created this class, probably about 9 years ago, maybe almost 10 years ago, there wasn't as much as there is now in terms of digital media, but it's basically something that it's everything we do now. I mean, it's basically what we do on our phone. It's what we're doing right now on our computer. It's not exactly something that's it's not exactly something that's a new invention. So, but there is probably what we try to do in this class is try to provide you the ideal that, in case you didn't know, reporters are not just people or writers anymore. They are essentially producers. So, yay. So there we go. So what I try to do in this class is try to do as much as possible from a production standpoint. In addition to the actual reporting and writing of things, and that would be, bringing it to how do we actually post it onto the website? How do we develop things that are extensions of the writing, which essentially accommodate many stories now. In some places, they accommodate every story, and that is video and photography, of course. And then, of course, there's also the graphics end of things. So, okay. I'm actually going to take attendance, okay, because I know it is a situation that, again, a little bit unusual, a little bit unique, but it's something I have to do. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Like I said, I had this all set up before my Zoom crashed. So let me just call it up right now. All right. All right, so if you could, just so you know, you don't have to, I don't want to, it's early in the morning. I don't want you guys to think, you don't want to turn on your video camera, it's fine. You can also, whether you put it on mute or not, that's up to you. Okay. Just make sure there's not noise that's kind of distracting or anything like that. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to take the roll call here. All right. You guys ready? Miriam?
Yeah.
Okay. John?
Here.
Hi, John. I'm going to mispronounce names. I'm sorry ahead of time. Zanaya, are you here? Okay. How about Amber? You here?
I'm here.
Hi, Amber. Salvatore?
Here.
Okay. I'm sorry, is it Rania or is it? Okay. Rebecca?
Here.
Caitlin?
I'm here.
And is that Priyanka?
Priyanka, yeah, here.
Gotcha. And did I miss anybody? Okay, good. All right, so we got 2 people missing. Okay. That is something actually, I mean, attendance is required for this class. I mean, I know I'll talk about it. I'm gonna go over, we're gonna do the boring stuff today. We're gonna talk about the syllabus and what's on it and expectations for the class and that sort of thing. Okay, so just so you know. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is use my wife's computer here for the first time. So I want to make sure I get everything right. All right. All right. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I am almost 55 years old. And I've been in journalism for now 33 years. Wow. Full-time for 33 years. I used to work in high school and college and that sort of thing. I was actually a Rutgers student, Rutgers graduate, and I was an editor on the Targum. Okay, that's something I encourage everybody to do. I realize that maybe they've had some issues recently with referendum funding, that sort of thing, but it really, like, you know, one thing that's always advocated in any journalism class is making sure that you're not just published, but also seen. And that's actually one change in the digital age, is that it used to be important if you're just published, but now being seen is important. What I mean by seen is you're able to find you on the internet. Okay. Your work. Okay. So anyway, so how did I get into this position? Well, I actually started in a very much in a non-digital position. I when I went to school here, I graduated in '89. I remember, like, it was about '87. I moved in with a few people I didn't really know. I got to be good friends with, and one of them was a computer science major. He had this thing called email, and it had the whole thing with, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember, but back in the day, the early 2000s and everything, with AOL used to be, that's how you actually connected to the internet. And we would hear that, and a lot when he in our house, and we were like, "What the hell is that?" Anyway, you couldn't be on the phone when he was on the internet. Sometimes you'd pick up the phone by accident, and you hear from upstairs this ah. So anyway, little did we know that this would basically take over our lives 8 years later, essentially. I would say the interesting thing about it, just to give you a little bit of a history lesson here, I'll give you more of a history lesson in a future class, but is that the news media actually didn't really, like, kind of grasp, as you might think, the digital world as quickly as it should have, except for business media. Business media would be like the Bloomberg Company, which was founded by former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and also the Reuters, because the whole idea of actually being, like, 24/7 media, that was something that was vital and also Associated Press, vital in the wire services, and that's essentially what they were. Okay. So we didn't actually really kind of acclimate until probably about 2000. We didn't even have Windows-based computers, if you can believe that, or even Macs for that matter. Anyway, so time passed on. Then I worked for very small newspapers when I started, which I thought was actually a very good education to have. I worked in Delaware State News, which I kind of laugh, that's actually the worst publication in America, but that's okay. I try to stay positive. So anyway, they had some interesting, weird things that happened. Joe Biden was senator, by the way, at the time. I actually interviewed him one time. He stuck his face like right in my face when he was talking to me. It was very awkward. So anyway, but we had this column that was kind of similar to what people do now when they comment on bottom of stories. This thing called Sound Off, only it was on paper, and people would leave these anonymous comments, just like they do now. And we felt they were horrible. Some of the things they would say. They would say things about Joe Biden. They would say things about Tom Carper, who's now a senator. Then I think he was a congressman. Then he became a governor, and then a senator. Some really horrible things, and we would print them. And I used to think that was ridiculous that happened, but now it's actually almost like kind of standard, right? You look at some of the stuff that's printed on the bottom of these articles, you're like, what? I mean, people do have the opportunity to flag them and that sort of thing. But anyway, so from there, I moved briefly to the Ocean County Observer. Then I went to the Atlantic City Press. I was there for 5 years, South Jersey. That's actually when we first actually connected to the internet. We had one internet computer. I actually got my current personal email address in 1997, but I had to go to the library to get it. Boy, this sounds like a real old fogey story, doesn't it? So anyway, so for 5 years I was there, and we had one internet computer. We actually had a line of people who had to wait to use it. That was funny. Finally, like in 2000, by 1999, 2000, I switched to the morning call in Allentown. And then we actually had internet or computers. Makes sense, right? If you're in journalism. Then I went to probably easily the best newspaper I've ever worked for was the Bergen Record in Northern New Jersey. I was there for 9/11. I covered a lot of 9/11. I was there actually the day after. Obviously the internet had not at that point really kind of like taken hold, believe it or not. It was actually like for a lot of people hard to use. And they were just getting into high speed modems at that time. So it didn't really like kind of take hold until about, I would say a little bit more about halfway through my tenure at the Bergen Record, which was almost 10 years. I left there in 2010 when the iPhone came around and even the iPhone didn't really kind of take hold right away either, because the service was AT&T and it sucked. So a lot of people chose to got Blackberries. That's why, like, if you ever watch TV shows like The Sopranos and everything from that decade, like nobody got an iPhone. They all like had the flip phones, right? The Wire, those shows, Breaking Bad. Anyway, so 2010, I actually in the late 2000s, they actually like thought it would be kind of cool if I did this thing called become a Mojo reporter, which is a mobile journalism reporter. So I was actually somebody who actually had a computer like this, and I would work remotely on a laptop. That was seen as actually like kind of actually revolutionary. And then what really kind of like advanced me to this area was I actually went to graduate school at Columbia, and then I got a degree in digital media. And then from there, I went to work at the Patch.com. I was there for 11 years, from 2010 to just this past June. I switched to Best Review Magazine, which is an insurance trade publication where I'm helping to build the website, actually. And then at Patch, we actually built essentially something out of nothing. Essentially, we built essentially local news websites throughout the country, and all being about local first. And we all learned about what's important in the digital media world. So, and what makes it go, makes it tick. Okay. All right. So that was a lot about myself. I don't mean to do that, but I just want to kind of give you a little bit about my expertise and where I'm coming from and like where I've learned some things. Okay. So do you have any questions so far or anything about anything? Guessing not. Don't be shy about raising your hand or whatever, or speaking up or interrupting me or whatever. It's fun. Okay. I try to keep things a little bit informal a bit. Okay. So, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys are taking 8:30 a.m. class. I know that's not the easiest thing to do. I just want to let you know that I'm with you. Okay. It's not the easiest thing to do. It is just not the easiest thing to do. When I was here, I actually managed, when I was a Rutgers student, I actually managed to avoid taking a first period class the entire time I was here. I didn't even realize there was a first period class. I thought second period was early, and that was pre-pandemic, obviously. So first period was 8:10, second period was 9:50. I'm assuming they're going to go back to that eventually. All right. All right. So just gonna what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna share the screen now. Okay. Okay. Yes, you can see the screen. Very good. Okay. All right. All right. So actually, I should put this in the student view. So we do everything based on Canvas here, or Canvas is kind of our center of control here. As you can see, I already have an assignment, which I'll explain what that means in a bit. All right. But, first I want to kind of talk about like what the class is and like where we operate from. Okay. So Canvas is our base of control here. So as you know, if you hope you've seen already, there's been an announcement. There's one announcement I put up. Put that up today or yesterday, basically just reminding people, hey, I don't know, this is actually, you're gonna, sorry if you see this stuff right here, this is actually from the old class, okay? So please ignore that. Just look at what's starting here with welcome to class, okay? I know there's probably a way for me to get rid of that, right? All right. It's funny. I used Sakai until the very last minute. I don't know if you guys even heard of Sakai. Sakai was the more antiquated system that they had. Okay. All right. So we have announcements. Oops. We have announcements here. Actually, this is the home page right here. Okay. My son, by the way, he works for PwC now, which is an accounting firm. So we're sharing the internet at the same time. So I'm hoping we're not having a problem. Okay. All right. All right, so here we go. That's my email right there. Welcome to Digital Media course offered by Department of Journalism. This course, we develop a strong foundation, media production for diverse forms of media. Obviously, news story, pub and news release from a PR agency is also that too. Consider that journalism, data journalism. These are things that are actually really come of age, especially in digital media. We'll talk about things that actually are done in digital media that wouldn't be done in traditional media 20 years ago. Okay. That's my email address. We're section 1. This is when we meet. Last semester was odd because I had 2 sections and I taught them the same material, but I had to teach them like one on Monday and one on Thursday. So actually we didn't actually really cover as much as I wanted to cover, because I had to, basically it was almost like a 1 day a week class. So, all right. And then of course I have a COVID notice here. Okay. And we're going to be meeting this way at 8:30. I'm trying, I don't like to blab too long on Zoom. It's really torture for everybody. So I get it. So, so anyway, I probably won't go past like 9:20 or 9:30. Okay. So, I also have actually a meeting that I go to for best review at 9:45. So I should be ready for that. All right, but the Zoom address is here, like the one I gave you. Okay. And, just basically read this, but basically there are, understand that while there are a lot of returns to normalcy, there are continuing challenges that we're facing. Thankfully, this Omicron thing is actually gone. We're actually starting to see a decline in cases now. Thank God. My God. That thing ran through my house like wildfire. Unfortunately, the 2 people who weren't boosted, and my middle son dragged his feet. 2 people who weren't boosted got it. Luckily, they had it for 5 days. This was 2 weeks ago, and it was over. It was like a bad cold. We assumed that it was Omicron, like people say. Not to go off topic here too much. My brother's a scientist, by the way, and he's been right about everything. He's been telling me all these different things, and he actually, I don't want to give people false hope here, but he actually, I'm seeing articles about it too. He told me on Thanksgiving that he believes that Omicron will turn the pandemic into an endemic, basically, and help bring an end to all this crap. So I'm just telling you what he said. Okay. So let's hope that happens. Okay. I mean, obviously, there's still hospital systems are being taxed and everything else. So I understand why the university would actually do this, go remote, want to be as safe as possible. But let's just hope that it's just 2 weeks. And I expect it will be, okay? So, basically I have all the different, this is actually standard language we've been using for, the COVID, and mostly for like actually when we return in person. Obviously, we're going to be wearing a mask, including the instructor, okay? Remember, it has to cover the nose and mouth, okay? Yes, our classroom has 20 seats. They actually kind of like told us last semester, don't talk to people in the room or blah, 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 but actually we did. So just so you know, I did like lean over people's chairs and stuff like that. And we had masks on, and I think there was actually maybe just one person who said he was sick. That was it. So we actually did pretty well. Okay. Obviously if there's an outbreak of some sort, then we probably have to go remote. Okay. So I'm really not expecting that to happen, but that's just me. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. Okay. So how is this website set up? All right. So what we have is there's no reading in this course, by the way. So there's no reading assignments. Okay. I might give you like something here and there to look at. Okay. But no book or anything like that. The assignments are posted here. Okay. And I'll talk about this. Roll call attendance. Okay. Maybe doing there's class participation in this course, which I'll talk about. But how do you get class participation in this course? Well, actually, attendance is kind of wrapped into that. It is wrapped into that, okay? I can't actually grade you specifically for attendance, but I can actually wrap that into the class participation grade, okay? All right, so anyway, I also might do some discussion points, that sort of thing. So I expect you to kind of participate in that too. And also do the things, whether it's here in the Zoom or actually when we go in person, do things like raise your hand and engage and try to have conversations. I know it's a little more difficult. It's more difficult with the mask on. We actually managed to do okay with it, okay, last semester. So, oh yes, I may usually they give me like more time than this, so I may actually have to actually like sign in and sign out. Let me let's do that in about 5 minutes, okay? So if we could just sign in and sign out in about 5 minutes, just give me, or a few minutes, just give me a few minutes here, okay? There'll be grades will be posted, okay? And then there'll be modules, okay? All right, the modules will actually basically will give you essentially, guide you through the semester. There's an assignment list, but I actually like also attach this to the modules too. And this will essentially give you like I said, the topics that we'll be exploring, digital basics. I actually have a news writing instructional video because we do actually talk about news writing in this course. There's actually a re-emphasis of that. There'd probably be a bit overlap with like writing for media. I have to admit, there will probably be that. So, all right. So, but like I said, we try to do more than that. Okay. And I also have a video making instructional video. So that'll help with people with that, because, basic thing is that digital media is just like any other really media. It's really about keeping things simple, but probably even more simple. Okay. All right. All right, so let's see. And then of course the syllabus is right here. And here we go. That's right there. It's posted right there, but I'm going to go over that in a bit. Okay. All right. And I will be recording these courses. Okay. But I do expect you to attend too, but I'll be recording these at the same time. All right. So if you could do me a favor, and I'm very sorry to have to do this, I haven't actually purchased a Zoom account. Can we all please just sign out and then just sign back in again if we could? Okay. Just so I can make sure I can get this time. Okay. Sorry about that. So if you could sign back in I'll see you in about a few minutes. Okay.